Welcome to SMF Street. What we're going to do is a quick video, make sure that we have it on tape. Today's date is 8/23/2010. What we want to focus on is a walk around Wall Street, knowing where the sellers were, and we will also be taking a look at the first one is NASDAQ Financials 100. We had broad-based selling across the board in this sector as far as the financials and the NASDAQ go, and it's all red. NASDAQ banking, or NASDAQ biotech today, the full biotech, not the smaller indexes, had some selling in it. Once again, the strongest one in this is the broader picture of the NASDAQ biotech. So basically, there was some distribution across the board there as well. We've already done the NASDAQ 100 financials. That's the IXF. There's lots of put options that can be bought, so there was lots of selling as it populates. You can see the broader area there, which is an important area, a lot of distribution. The NASDAQ 100, which is all 100 stocks in the NASDAQ, had broader base selling and distribution as well, and is still populating, and it's all red for the most part. Tech did not lead the way in the NASDAQ 100. The other thing is the NASDAQ transports, TRANX. One thing about the transports, they lead rallies. And this is on the NASDAQ one. One thing I don't see here, I see all red, distribution there. So keep chalking them up. Let's go to some of the Dow components. Dow Jones Composite. Here, DJC, Dow Jones Composite. And there are bear funds you can buy on all of these. Don't think that you haven't been told, because you have. And I've got distribution here. More distribution there. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Transports. That also leads rally. I got nothing but red and distribution. Nothing but distribution. Let's take a look at some of the Standard & Poor's components. And let's see where that S&P 500 is. SPX.X. Red, red, red. As it populates, it's populating more red. So the S&P did not bode well on 8/23 of this trading week. That in the dog days of August. All red. There it is. I've showed it. It's still populating red. That's the S&P 500. Look at those red prints come in. Distribution. Let's go to the mid-cap 400. Mid-cap 400, MID.X. I've got selling in the mid-cap 400. Sorry. Still populating nothing but red, red, red. You can see the broader distribution. That's why bear funds are out there to be purchased. We have them all on the stockmarketfunding.com website, folks, for all you new street traders. And the thing about it is, I've got distribution in the small cap 600. What about the? Oh, look at it! Just keep getting bigger. There are bear funds on the small cap 600. There are bear funds on the mid cap 400. There are bear funds. This is S&P 100 stocks. Look at here. The top 100 companies are listed here. I've got red. I've got distribution. As we continue to walk around Wall Street, let's take a look at the gold and silver index today. There was some distribution there. Red. Let's take a look at the Morgan Stanley commodity CRX.X. There are bear funds on these. I've got distribution. Natural gas, which we showed earlier, it's a mixed bag. Little bit of buying in some of the natural gas components there. Amex oil, the Amex oil index, got pretty good distribution, a little bit of a mixed bag. But what about the energy patch? Red distribution. What about the oil services? Oh boy, kind of a mixed bag in there. So there was a little nibbling in, some of these stocks that have already been sold down hard. Oil services. Let's take a look at oil services, OSX. You got, these are the components. These are the names that make up that. And it's a mixed bag. It looks better than some of the others, though. Obviously, the banking index, the KBW banking index, the $BKX.X, you can buy bear funds on this. I don't see nothing but distribution here. And you can think that to your U.S. government policies. Fertilizer. Fertilizer stocks, potash, all the big buyouts coming. Other things in the name. There are a couple of other names that we'll be looking at, but we're going to see just how much profit taking that ends up taking in the ags. Restaurants. These are your restaurant stocks. That means that there was some distribution across the board. Let's take a look at semiconductors. Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. I've got nothing but selling in the semis called the SOX Index. There are bear funds. Don't say you haven't been told. We own quite a bit of these bear funds when they don't work. Other areas, capital equipment, red and semis. Those were the devices. This is the equipment ones. They're down. The GSTI, this is the bigger, broader picture of all the semis. All selling in semis. Semis lead rallies, financials, transports, all the right things. Let's take a look at some of the technology. The Morgan Stanley Technology Index, all red, distribution. Internet, Stanley Internet Index, all red, distribution. The Interactive Week Internet, all distribution in this internet, and all bear funds pay on those. Let's take a look at software. The broader software on the NASDAQ was distribution. Okay, let's take a look at the services side of things. Distribution in the NASDAQ services, all red. CBO Technology Index, red. Technology did not fare well. Computer technology did not fare well. Okay, earnings season's over. Let's take a look at another very important component, and that's the disk drives, all being sold in those names, including SanDisk. Let's take a look at Dow Jones Internet Conference, the Dow Jones ECM.X, all selling across the board. So what else could we look at that would be important? Is we'll take a look and see if there was any bright spots in healthcare. So you have a bigger bright spot here. There was a little bit of things holding up earlier in the day in that area. Leisure and entertainment. What about the casinos? The casinos, all distribution. When is a great short in here? Retail. Morgan Stanley Retail. These are all the retail stocks that have been coming out with their earnings. They haven't been that good back to school. Buying doesn't seem to be there. Morgan Stanley Consumer Index, mixed bag. There was some buying in some of these names here. It looks to be one of the brighter spots. And let's take a look at a very important one, and that's the cyclicals. Morgan Stanley cyclicals. I see distribution. All distribution. Distribution. Broad-based selling on Wall Street. All the key components. Let's take a look at one other thing that would be helpful. The real estate one, which we don't pay a lot of, but let's just take a look at the housing sector. Another big round of distribution. Let's take a look at the REITs. The Dow Jones REITs. Dow Jones REITs are populating. They've been selling the REITs all across the board. Security broker dealers. How about this one? Okay. You have some selling in there. Jeffries is the only bright spot. Not big selling, but still selling across the board. Is there any other important ones? Pharmaceuticals. That's a bright spot. See the green? The drug index. Drug index, a bright spot. We already went through Morgan Stanley Biotech. which is the MV.X. You can buy calls on this. There was some distribution today and some names, some of the lower names. A lot of them aren't even in here, but the ones that are, some of them had some buying. Human Genome Sciences ended up. And so biotechnology is the favorite for the year. That's the SMF biotechnology upgrade. And basically that will really do it for today.